with a degree in engineering. Wow. He worked in the aerospace industry for many years, where he had to travel extensively and live in different parts of the world. Wow. He's an avid golfer and his hobby is forest bathing. Wow. So at some point in our life, many of us become uncertain and confused, and we feel like we do not know who we really are. So 6 years ago, Thomas was confronted with his own identity crisis, and he survived. He overcame and became stronger. So tonight, he will share with us on the erosion of identity and how to reverse it. Let's put our hands together for Thomas.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little bit of a DIY kind of person. So and I'm very, very interested in mental wellness. As you previous topic I spoke about is about forest bathing and things like that. So this is one of them where I believe that. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That it's a very interesting topic because identity is who you are. You know, most of you know who you are. Some of you do not know so well. Others are confused. A very good example of somebody who has an identity crisis would be like Michael Jackson. You know, so he did something that I think is terrible. He's actually a black person and he started to make himself look white. So that straight away is an identity crisis there. And if you look at some of the famous people, they are the ones who are most prone to have identity crisis. Later on, as I go through it, you understand why they do that. You know, and a lot of them commit suicide. You know, you think, wow, famous, rich, you know, good-looking, there's everything, and yet they are sad, depressed, and a lot of them kill themselves. So you need to know why. Okay. So I hope tonight, when I share with you, what did I do?
Identity crisis.
So a very good start would be how you define identity. So if you talk to a psychologist, they will say the way you think of yourself, you know, how you define yourself, stories you tell about yourself, who you are, and all comes to create your identity. Now, this is a very dangerous statement too, because you can tell yourself and you end up like a con man. You know, con men tell themselves they are what they are not. And it's the same as you use also. You can actually tell yourself you are somebody important and you're not. Or the other way around. Okay? So you must be very aware of what are you telling yourself. This is a very personal thing. Nobody's going to tell you. First of all, you got to get your identity right. That means you got to be very honest with yourself. So you got to do your own self-evaluation. And then only you can find out from other people what they think of you. Now, actually, identity has got many components. They have relational identity, professional identity, spiritual identity, financial identity, and physical identity. Now, this component make up your total self. And if you get it somewhere wrong, somewhere, you're going to be in trouble. I start with relational identity. What I mean by relational identity is more like who you are to your family, who you are to society. You can say, I'm a husband of 5 children, or okay, a mother of 5 children. You know, I'm single, or I'm married, happily married, things like that. So this is your relational identity. So this relational identity can change over time, isn't it? What if you are happily married and 5 years later you divorce? Straight away, your relational identity has changed, shifted to a worse situation. So you must be able to come to terms with that. Or you are getting older. You know, you used to be a father and now you're a grandfather. Oh, that's a big shift. You know, you got to still come to terms with that. Then your professional identity. You know, where are you working? Who are you? You know, I'm a top AIA insurance sales agent, $1 million client. You know, so this is your professional identity. But what if you leave the company, retire? So what do you call yourself now? Professional retiree, perhaps. And then your spiritual identity is another one. And this one is very, very, what they call a game changer, your spiritual identity. A lot of people don't realize it. Let's say if you are an atheist, you behave in a certain way. But then you embrace Christianity, become saved. And that Christianity, God changes you very drastically. So you have met people who are really very vulgar, drink and all that. And then 5 years down the road, you see them, oh, so holy. Wow, there's a shift, a positional shift. They say, what happened? Oh, I became a Christian, that kind of thing. And then, of course, your financial identity. Where are you now financially? I'm very rich, I'm very poor, or I just got promoted, I got a new job, and now I'm much, much better off. So this, and then your physical identity. You used to be so fat, people call you elephant. Then you started dieting and exercising, and now you are really strong, young, lean, and healthy. So there's a shift already. Yeah? So all this make up your identity. So you can see that. So what must you do really? You must take time to reflect on your identity. I like to say every maybe 5 years, you should do like what you call a recalibration. Ask yourself, using those checklists, where are you now? A lot of people don't do that. They just drift through life, and then suddenly wake up one day and say, hey, I'm divorced. What am I going to do? Something like that. So you have to recalibrate, and then be aware that identity can erode over time. So it's not fixed. We are such a dynamic people. It's not fixed. And if you're not careful, remember I told you about famous people, depression, suicide, lost focus. So if you have said to yourself, I definitely experience a loss of identity, and I'm a faker, now what must I do? And you know what is a faker, isn't it? You pretend to be what you are not. You must recalibrate. You must go back, sit down. I always do it maybe every 10 years, but sooner is better. Recalibrate. Go back, think about your life, who you are, where are you now, where are you going, Then you accept yourself. Accept yourself in your new identity, and try to find new purpose, joy, contentment that slowly become part of you. And if you do this checklist, you will become much happier and a more contented person. Thank you.
7 minutes and 24 seconds.
Wow.
I like because it's very organized, and he has actually bring us through a very good ideas of our identity, which is something that is very awakening, something that is perhaps something that we all know, but we have never really come across it, truly trying to understand our own identity. And I guess this is really a very good lesson. But I think in order to really improve the presentation, perhaps like what has been feedback all along just now, if there's a little bit more humor introduced, I think it will make the session a lot more livelier. Right. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, like the topic was a little bit deep, so I think it's something for us to think about. So makes us want to go more into evaluating ourselves. But I would have liked the checklist. I would have liked the checklist. Secondly, the voice was a little bit flat. So it was, if we had continued for maybe 1 hour, I would have probably the content was a little bit heavy, so I think if it's been a bit lighter, more humor, it would have been a little bit more engaging for the audience. So that. I would still like that checklist.
Thomas, you're knowledgeable on the subject. Give a round of applause. Good.
Yes.
What is identity? identity already explained here. Alright? So everybody knows what's identity?
Yes.
It's about yourself. Alright, the 5 areas. Now this part, I would rather you put components of identity and you release only one. Keep all these first. Because once you put all the 5, everybody start reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You take away the eye contact and things like that. So only release one. Then when you finish, you release number 2, number 3, number 4. Release one. What is this line doing here? I don't know. Is that this line? What is it for?
Part of the template, I think. Yeah.
So the get of this line, so it's nice, right?
He doesn't use Canva. He used the wrong one.
So as you put it here, rational identity, you put site A, B or what, something like that to explain it. As you speak, you put it there. So explain what is financial identity, why you need financial identity, and physical identity, what is all that about. Now the thing is, you recommend to take stock every 10 years. I think it's too long.
Die already.
No, nobody will remember 10 years ago what was die and now 10 years later. Probably 3 to 4 years or even 3 years should be good enough because you have a graduate shift and one shot big jump over there. And I want to ask you, what is this one doing here? This is for what?
Template. It's part of the template.
He doesn't know how to use it.
That's your eyesight.
For me, yeah, you want to put some nice pictures or something. I should have nice picture, right?
That take a one line.
Yes.
Next time,
Honestly speaking, the tone is again quite monotonous. It's the same tone. You need to have highs and lows. And when you ask a question, pause for answer. Pause and look at the person. Look, pause, right? Every time you ask a question, please pause for that 3-4 seconds and look at somebody's eyes and try to get the answer when you ask a question. Alright? This is the way to present. And again, this one, I think that's conclusion. So what's the conclusion?
no conclusion.
Anybody want to do your identity after this? Will you take every 10 years to do your
No,
identity?
not 10 years.
Every year.
You don't have 10 years. Sir.
Yeah.
50 years. So that's how you create a joke thing after, right? That's make fun of you because we all are in the family. So that's okay. Give Thomas a round of applause.